Hello everyone, Travis here, and welcome back to the channel. It is my favorite day of the week, Theme Park Thursday, the day I have set aside for ride simulation games, theme park lovers, and roller coaster enthusiasts alike. We are back in the world of Open Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 today in my mega park, and we're going to continue more or less from where we left off last time, although I do have a little bit of a big kind of attempt at a project today. And yeah, so as usual, I will go ahead and timestamp where the time lapse starts because we're going to be looking around a little bit at first. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get on into it. So let's see. One thing that I wanted to work on perhaps today is this building here. We'll see how it goes. This is like the kind of like guest services, security maybe building. Probably the main one, I would think, since I mean we do have ticket booths and stuff over here. And we will have a ticket booth built into that as well over here. But I also like probably on this side, maybe ticket booths there, and then this would be like a guest services kind of combo security office perhaps. Or maybe we'll put guest services there and the security outpost over here. Either way, maybe we'll start with that. Let's see how it goes. As you can see, things are kind of moving right along. The bulk of today's episode will actually be a train that I'm going to attempt to put in. I want to connect the ghost town area, this building here being a station maybe, with the Alpine area. And it's going to be kind of real skinny and maybe awkwardly shaped. We'll see how it goes. If I hate it, we might tear it up later. But that's going to be maybe the meat and potatoes of today's episode. And, you know, among other little kind of fixes and stuff. As you can see by looking at the map, we are getting pretty near the point where we're going to be start doing a bunch of foliage and all of that stuff. So, you know, we're definitely getting there. But without further delay, I'll go ahead and move into the time lapse and sit back, relax, and I hope you all enjoy. All right, we are back, and we're going to start out with this first building, like I said we probably would earlier, and then move on to the security building. I actually did decide to go with that, and yeah, you know, this turns out okay. It's not like my best work ever. It does, you know, get there in the end. You'll see I struggle a little bit at first. I wanted it to match the style of the rest of the stuff around it, obviously, but, you know, I didn't want to exactly copy the ticket booths from the main entrance, although I couldn't have anyway because, you know, the building shape and everything is a little bit different. But stylistically, you'll recognize this from, you know, the stuff around it. And yeah, so in my most recent time-lapse video, which was for the SimCorp park yesterday, I I had sped it up to 4 times. This one is 3.75, which I know is a little bit kind of random of a time, but I think that's a little bit better. There were a couple of spots yesterday that were a little bit kind of jerky and fast. I think any slower than this, and it would just be way too long of a video. And I know, I don't know how it is for you guys, but for me, once a time-lapse video gets longer than 20 minutes, I start to kind of like lose interest in it. Not necessarily interest, but just focus on it. And so I'm trying to keep the time lapses under 20 minutes. This video, I believe, is going to be closer to 25 maybe, which is okay because that just means we got a lot done today. And you'll see when we move into the train here in a little bit that it's quite a project, quite an undertaking that I've put in. And we'll discuss more about my thoughts on that when we get over there. For now, we're just, you know, working on this building. This is Thursday. It's actually the middle of the night for me, but it is technically Thursday when I'm recording this audio. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you I mean, obviously it's an American holiday more or less, but I think Thanksgiving is celebrated everywhere, like in Europe and stuff too, right now. I know Canada has theirs like in October or something, but yeah. 2020 hasn't really left a whole lot for us to be grateful for, I would say. It just has been kind of a crappy year, and I didn't get to do anything real theme park related this year, unfortunately. I was at Disneyland in, I think, like March or late April. I mean, sorry, late February. And after that, COVID hit hard, and we haven't really been anywhere since. And then, in my new house, of course, we're looking at doing Thanksgiving here because it's the new thing and whatever. And then our stove decided to come up with a gas leak. So luckily there's a warranty on it, and we filed that claim, but unfortunately they can't fix it until next week. So we will be going to a restaurant most likely for Thanksgiving, which luckily here restaurants are open at limited capacity. I do believe that's going to create a long wait for us tomorrow or later today, I guess. But I mean, it's always good to go get some nice, yummy, delicious food and all of that. Weather is actually starting to feel pretty wintry here finally. We were in the, I don't know, 80s, even close to 90s the last couple of weeks. That's obviously Fahrenheit. I think Celsius would be like in the mid 30s. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, it's been warm, and maybe not quite, maybe low 30s, but anyway, warm nonetheless. And but we dropped down into the like right now it's 30 something degrees outside Fahrenheit, which is close to freezing. So we're probably in the maybe like around 5, 6, 7 degrees Celsius right now. So if somebody look up those conversions and let me know how off I am with those. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's nice to feel kind of the season now. I went to the store earlier today, well, I guess yesterday, and picked up a few things, and everything's all decorated and festive and all of that, and it's nice that the weather kind of matches that. We might not do a whole lot of decorating this year, although I do have family potentially coming into town, COVID permitting. It's weird because on one hand it's like, well, we probably shouldn't, risk it. But then on the other hand, we're really wanting to kind of feel the season and just get 2020 over with, So we're debating still on that, but well, obviously if they do come, we'll keep things safe with wearing of masks and social distancing and whatever we need to do for that. And it's only going to be a couple of close family members, and I was just with them about a month ago, so it's not like a bunch of strangers are coming in and whatever. But we'll see how it goes. Moving on to the security outpost now. I think it kind of makes sense to have the security building here because it's right where like all of the the big trucks would be coming in and delivering stuff and whatever. There's that big supply room, or I guess warehouse there. So they probably would have to go through security to get permission to access the area or whatever. Kind of interesting that it crosses over like where the main guest path is. Obviously, if you're aware of how this project has gone, like there was no real like planning for an exterior world or anything. Like that was never the purpose of this park. So a lot of the backstagey stuff that I'm adding in kind of is just more like use your imagination, than anything, because it's not entirely realistic. But then again, this park in general isn't meant to be super realistic. So okay, moving on to the train. Before I talk about that, I wanted to mention the ride name thing. So I know I mentioned it last episode, I believe, that I was looking for ride name suggestions for whatever was like new ride was put in, and then in the SimCorp park yesterday, I also asked for ride name suggestions for the flat ride that I put in there. I plan to, for the Mega Park, I plan to discuss ride names, the people who submitted those in the next episode, hopefully, if I remember. But just know that it's not something I'm ignoring. I know I'm a little bit slow at responding to comments and stuff sometimes. I'm trying to be better about that. I know as the channel grows, I, will inevitably not be able to answer everyone. But I do read everything. It comes directly to my phone, and so any hate that you guys send, I'm just kidding, but any comments that you leave, I do receive, and I actually really enjoy getting feedback from you all and you interacting with the videos and the comments and those kinds of things. It used to happen a lot more. It seems to have slowed down a little bit lately, but that's okay. You'll see right now that I really just was not liking the way the train was turning out. I didn't mind it going through the coaster like that and having a tunnel or whatever. I just felt like the way it interacted with the paths and everything was really awkward. So I actually flipped the way that it entered into the area. Well, actually I flipped the way that it comes from the original station building and made some changes in general with the track. One thing you'll notice is that the space for this is very limited, and it's very tight, and the tracks kind of parallel each other a lot. And so I know that's a little bit weird. I'm not naive to the fact that it's a little bit awkward, but I'm gonna try to fix that with buildings and stuff. And you'll see that I highlight or paint the terrain my little reddish sand color to indicate where I plan to put buildings. And how I plan to cover some of it up. It's going to be quite a lot of trial and error and just, experimenting with different options for that. I plan to make it look normal. I don't, it's going to be fine in the end. I have a feeling. But as of the end of this video, some of you might be commenting whoa, what are you doing? That's so weird. Nothing about that works for me. And I get it, trust me, I do. I'm tracking that. It's not uncommon to have a random, just train ride connecting two themed areas versus maybe going around the entire park. I had considered taking the track on the other side of the Alpine area because there's a mountain in the Alpine area where that bobsled coaster is. But I just couldn't get it to go through there in a way that would make sense with the pathing, and so I kept it this kind of skinny thing, and I think it's gonna look good. I think that the train idea makes sense for both the ghost town and the Alpine area, like a mountain train kind of thing for the Alpine area, and then a ghost train sort of feel for the ghost town area. So the two themes being next to each other like that, well, they're more or less next to each other. There's a little bit of something in between them, but it seemed perfect to connect them like this and to put a transport ride in the park because we don't actually have one. And in a park this size, you definitely are going to get tired of walking around all day, and so this is what I was talking about, where I'm laying out to put buildings and stuff, and I'm going to cover up some of the track with buildings and, put kind of scenic moments in and stuff for that. And I really do think it's going to be fine. And you'll see that once I get the station buildings going and we start toying around with that it actually does start to take shape. And so, I might spend a lot of time putting this together and end up hating it and ripping out the whole thing eventually. We'll see. But for now, I'm content with how this is turning out. And I hope that you guys will just kind of, if you're questioning it, I hope you'll just kind of trust me on that. And go with it for now, and we'll sort it out later if it needs to be fixed. But yeah, let's see what else is new. I just did the SimCorp video yesterday, so a lot of the stuff that I talked about or is going on with me, I've already talked about, and I don't really want to repeat myself necessarily. So let's see, what else? Work. I talked about that. I know some YouTubers will just stop mid time lapse, start telling stories and stuff, and I don't know, that's not really my style. So but you know, it's all good. I also don't really have many stories right now because obviously we haven't been really going anywhere. Although I did, like I said, recently move, so that's been taken up the majority of my time lately. To clarify what I said in the other video, if you were watching or if you didn't watch it and you know you're just getting in on this one, I did attempt to pre-record. As you can tell, I've been away from YouTube for about 2 weeks until yesterday, and I had been like, I'm gonna post, you know, 2, 3, 4 times a week. You know, don't believe anything I say. I'm a liar. But anyway, I did try to pre-record, and because I was expecting the move to take way less time than it actually did. And what ended up happening is we disassembled everything at the other house and got ready to move over here, and then our closing date got delayed, and you know, so then I was without a computer at the other house, and I didn't, you know, really know what to do about the pre-recording thing, and so anyway, I just didn't make enough to cover the, you know, almost 3 week gap that I had. I only made like a week's worth of stuff, and so, you know, whoops, my bad. I will definitely try to be better about that in the future, because I know once people get used to the schedule and stuff, it's going to make things a lot easier for all of us. Especially right now with us going into the holidays and people being out of school, like having YouTube content to watch is like always a good thing. And I'm going to try to be that for you all. If you were subscribed before and you unsubscribed and you're back here watching this, and you know, please resubscribe. You know, obviously views matter more than subscribers, but you know, subscribers are a sign of growth on channels, and especially a small channel like mine. You know, it really helps to understand that what I'm doing is the right thing. You know, it helps me to know what the people want. Also, you know, interacting with the video by liking and subscribing and all those things that YouTubers tell you to do. You know, we're not just telling you to do that because we want to stroke our own ego. It actually does help the algorithm, and the more kind of activity that we get on our video, the more likely it is to show up in other people's recommendeds and that sort of thing. And so, you know, help us small YouTube channels as much as you can. And that's the end on that. That's all I'm going to say. I always, you know, get really annoyed when YouTubers plug that too much, you know, like it's almost like they're begging for support and whatever. Obviously, you being here and listening to me ramble right now is support enough. And I truly do appreciate that, and I appreciate you and our time together. And yeah, so you see we're working on the station building here. This one is the Ghost Town station, and it's right on the edge of Ghost Town, and I think it actually kind of makes sense with how the paths come in, because we've got like the pathing from a couple of different themed areas there. We've got that industrial-ish themed area, mechanical themed area there. We have the kiddie area around the corner, and then we have Ghost Town. And also the corridor connecting Ghost Town over to the Alpine area. So, you know, a lot of traffic is going to come through here regardless, so it makes sense that we would have the train here. The only thing is I wish that I had maybe planned a little bit better for this, because I would have had a more open plaza there, and I can't do that, obviously, without moving a wooden coaster. And I don't want to do that, that's for sure. And yeah, so, you know, we're just working on detailing the station building here. The other one is the exact same shape, although I believe it's one tile narrower or one tile shorter somehow. I don't know like quite how that happened. The station length is exactly the same length, so you know, obviously it has to do with the fact that the way that it turns out of the station on this one versus that one, because there is one difference between the two. So I'm not able to put like a middle tower on the other one, because it's an even number of tiles versus the odd one that this one is. So what I decided to do instead over there, and we'll talk about that a little bit when we get over there, is I actually put 2 towers instead of one, and I put them, they're bigger towers, they're 2x2 towers, and you'll see when we get over there. I guess I shouldn't talk about that till we get there. But I am putting the last little detailing pieces here, and we're going to move over there now, I believe. So, yeah. Again, we're gonna start this the similar way. This is in the Alpine area, Alpine European Tudor kind of style area. Obviously, that's the architecture I've gone with, other than the station building for the bobsled coaster, which is more Alpine than this. But so we're borrowing the style from the building I put next to the Rapids ride. It flashed on the screen a few seconds ago, but so everything over here is white with brown trim and stuff, other than that one building. So I'm borrowing that color scheme, and this is like that peachy color with brown trim, and I'm also incorporating some white, as you can see, to kind of tie everything together. I actually like the way this station building turns out, but one thing I will say is that this building and the other station building, they're probably not completely done. I have to go back and detail and add different things to them, most likely off camera. The thing that I've noticed is that when I'm building on camera, I feel like a lot of the small detail-y things take up a lot of extra time, and I'm afraid people are going to just stop watching because it's boring. So I do some of the detailing things off camera, and then, you know, kind of reveal it in the next episode or whenever it comes up. And so that's what I'm planning to do, especially since a lot of what's left in this park is that, you know, nitty-gritty detailing stuff. You know, we're going to kind of like do a mixture of building off camera, time lapses like this, and maybe even some real-time building as well to, you know, kind of like create a variety of content for you all. My goal is to finish this park this year. That's, you know, my New Year's resolution, or my before New Year's, I guess, my end of year resolution is to finish this park and to showcase it on the Roller Coasters and Friends Discord, which that link should be in the description if you want to join. I'm not really active there at the moment. As I mentioned yesterday, I had to step away from social media in general. I don't know, until further notice, I guess. I was only going to take like a week or two, but it's been like over 2 weeks already, and I'm still not ready to go back. I'm not missing Facebook or anything at all, if I'm honest. So Discord a little bit, just because like the conversations and stuff are pretty cool. But I know like people are expecting me to go back in and facilitate the last defunct cycle and stuff, and I'm just not ready for that yet. And so those of you who are wondering, where the heck am I? I'm around. I'm just taking a break. And, you know, nothing wrong with that. But yeah, this building is actually really coming together now. You'll see that kind of Tudor style with the trim pieces and all of that. I do think this needs more detailing, like I said, and the other one maybe a little bit too. But I realized that the I don't know, I guess the recording was going a little bit long at this point, and so I did cut it a little bit off before I detailed everything, especially the back. You'll notice the back is very plain and, you know, whatever. But that's actually like all of the buildings in recent episodes. I haven't really done much with the back. And I plan to do that probably off camera, or, you know, in a future episode where I just focus exclusively on, you know, the backs of buildings maybe. But like, we'll see how it goes. But I think stylistically this works for what I'm going for here. You'll see that red square right there is going to be a flat ride of some kind. One thing I was noticing is that there's only one dark ride in the park, so I may try to fit in a dark ride over here. I think a dark ride would fit in this area pretty well, at least, you know, as far as like the theming and stuff. Land-wise, we're actually running out of land over here, which is surprising because a few episodes I was really overwhelmed by how much I had to fill. And, you know, so like it's good that progress is being made. It feels good to see that happening. This back area of the park has kind of been a real like stress inducer for me. But, you know, it's definitely making progress in recent months. But we've actually reached the end of the video. So I want to thank you all for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what you see. Comment down below letting me know of what you think of how everything is looking so far. Subscribe if you haven't already. And with that said, you all have a great morning, afternoon, evening, night, etc. wherever you are in the world. And I will see you all next time.